Shalom, all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh Bashem Yahshai Bashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the hopeful elect brothers that's doing the work of the Lord in sincerity and in truth. Now, this is news that came out yesterday, I believe, and this is concerning Trump, and this is from Bloomberg, and it says Trump directs Treasury Department to modernize payment systems. And this is more MOTB news. Lord will, this lesson is going to be edifying. I'm just going to read through the article and get a couple scriptures because they're setting up the infrastructure or the support for what the MOTB is going to be what the MOTB is going to be ran on, or what is going to be used with, because without the infrastructure, then you just have a piece of metal or a piece of plastic or whatever material that these Edomites make it with, that they make the CHIP, the MOTB with. It's going to be either in your right hand or your forehead, concerning Revelation the 13th chapter. It says Trump directs Treasury Department to modernize payment systems. And to modernize payment systems is going into, in simple terms, make everything digital and do away with paper money, because the world is going for a push for digital currency. Dealing with the blockchain, and you have something called a CBDC. Canada wants to go full digital with their money, with their currency. EU wants to go full digital by October of this year, 2025, with their currency. So the prophecies are speaking concerning the MOTB. Let me get a couple scriptures. Let me read through it first. It says, Donald Trump displays an executive order during a meeting with U.S. ambassadors in the cabinet room of the White House in Washington, D.C. on March 25th. And let me go down. It says, for fraud, that's the excuse that they're going to use for fraud, for security's sake, for cybersecurity's sake. Let's modernize and centralize, which meaning that let's bring the payment system under one control. Let's bring the payment system under one control, so we could one control or one place, so we could watch it and control it, and basically have control over the people's finance. They could monitor what everyone's using their money for. Full control. Giving up. These people gave up. Sorry for the wind if you hear it. These people gave up. These people gave up their freedom for so-called security because of all the cyber attacks and TER attacks, TERIST, attacks. So the government, Esau, through instilling fear in these people, they could get the people to accept all of this, to accept a digital currency and a big brother society. to where everything's watched by cameras and your money's watched. There's no privacy. Now let me get Habakkuk. Habakkuk 2, verse 3. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, that's the prophecies, right? Vision meaning, there's something to see. And prophecies, are to prophesy, meaning to say before, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it, right? For the vision is yet for an appointed time. The prophecies are set for an appointed time to come to pass, or to unfold, or to happen. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. So the prophecies right now are speaking that was written thousands of years ago. John, the Revelator, he was on the island of Patmos when he was sentenced to the mines, I believe it was the salt mines, where he received the revelations, by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That was around 2,000 years ago. And the prophets before that, the prophecies that was written down by the prophets before that, even, hundreds to thousands of years even before that. So now those prophecies are coming to pass right now. But at the end they shall speak. Right now we're at the end of the world. Esau is the beginning. They say Esau is the beginning. Nah, Salakia. Esau is the end of the world, the end of the age, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Jacob refers to the Israelites. So Esau is ruling at the end of the world right now, the end of his age. The end of Esau's age, right after, is the beginning of the rule of the Israelites under Yahushai. But at the end it shall speak. So we're at the end of Esau's rulership right now, and not lie, though it tarry, though it may seem to delay. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So right now the prophecies are speaking. They're just happening at a faster rate. So we know the Lord is around the corner. And this is the payment system that they want to centralize is part of the prophecy of the MOTB, right? Because, the records and transactions, buying and selling is all going to be done through the MOTB, CHIP. One's going to be in your right hand or in your forehead. The Neuralink is an example of the one that's going to be in your forehead. And with those, they could work miracles. They could, make people like fake see again, and walk again and all that. But it's like a false miracle in a sense, because Yahushua, when he was performing his miracles, he would just say a word, or he would touch, he would say a word and that person will be healed, or he would touch an Israelite, and the Israelite will be healed. He didn't have to, put a piece of metal in them or perform surgery or none of that. No, it was just spiritual healing, So, and that's power from the right hand of the Most High through His Son. It says, Donald Trump directed the Treasury Department to modernize and centralize its payment system in an effort to root out fraud as money is transferred through the federal government. So what does this remind you of? This should remind you of the fact that a couple months ago, the they put out an executive order to stop the printing of pennies. Which, if you stop the printing of pennies, then there's gonna have a domino effect for you to stop, no, not the printing of pennies, the making or minting of pennies. Because it's metal, and then it's gonna cause a domino effect for the other coins like nickels, dimes, quarters, all the way up to paper money, dollar, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, right? And with that, you have, it's all orchestrated, but it's it's uh it's prophecies that's coming to pass that the Most High is putting in the spirit in these Edomites to do anyways to fulfill His will. So with that, you have inflation, and with that, you have the devaluing of the dollar, of the petrodollar. So it's all happening at once, and they're gonna bring in, the digital system, the digital currency, which is gonna be which is gonna be uh, uh, linked with the MOTB. Zeros and ones as money, as records, as a key to open and lock your doors, to open and lock your car doors, to be able to go into an establishment, a wine store, uh, uh, a dollar store, a supermarket, a doctor, hospital, whatever, to go into venues, concerts, whatever, to pay rent, to pay for food, buying or selling. This is the great setup for all that. But this is the end. Once the MOTB is made mandatory, then, everything just gonna speed up, right? The elect, is gonna be persecuted, but some will get spiritual powers, some will be martyrs, some will die for the name of the Lord and the word of the Lord. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The name of the Lord is very important. His name is Yahweh, and His Son's name is Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai. Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. And Salakia about the wind and the noise in the background if you hear it. I'm outside. Now, Trump signed 2 executive actions on Tuesday that ordered Treasury to use electronic payments whenever possible, as opposed to paper checks. It also called on the U.S. government to centralize payment processing within the Treasury Department as an additional step to reduce fraud and waste. So that's their excuse, to minimize fraud and to reduce waste, right? Now let's go into centralize. Centralize meaning, or just centralize. Concentrate control of an activity or organization. So it's under a single authority, and that goes into the NWO, right? You know what I mean by the NWO, and that's on the dollar bill. The NWO, a world order, right? So the MOTB, the centralizing of the money, the Great Reset. The Great Reset that they want to bring when the stock market crashed and the dollar finally collapsed, because the dollar is being held on by a string. Its support, and its value is so weak. All these countries are getting rid of the dollar. They're not using the dollar anymore to trade, right? But the BRICS countries, that alliance is going to have their own form of digital currency. So it's going to be a worldwide thing. It's not going to be in Babylon the Great, aka America. So the Israelites have to repent. 1/3 will repent, though. The Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, bring activities or processes together in one place. So that's what they want to do. Now look up decentralize, which is what the cryptocurrency was supposed to be. With all these coins, Dogecoin, and all that came out around the lockdown. Blockchain and cryptocurrencies. The real info started to really come out. During the time of the lockdown, if you know what I mean. Decentralized, transfer control of an activity or organization to several local offices or authorities rather than one single one. So decentralized is not having authority, not having one entity having authority or control over something. Like the payment system, right? Decentralized, like cryptocurrency, right? And that goes into like encryption, like message encryption. Like for WhatsApp, you would send a message, and that would be encrypted. But yeah, uh, MOTB. Let me get it right now. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that he is a so-called white man, because he's in power, starting with their elites. These Edomites, starting with their elites, all the rich, all the super rich elite families, right? And the all is everybody, small and great, whether it low in status or you're famous, you're great in status, you're known like these celebrities, rich and poor, whether you have money, rich or wealthy, or whether you're average Joe, just getting by, day to day, living paycheck to paycheck, free and bond, whether you're free in society, whether you have a job, family, you're allowed to go wherever you want, so to speak. And bond meaning you're locked up in jail or prison, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Mark in their right hand is going to be like the size of a rice grain or smaller. That's the CHIP, RFID CHIP. Or in their foreheads, that example is the Neuralink by Elon Musk. And then no man by buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So no one's going to be able to make any transactions, meaning to buy or sell, without having that RFID CHIP. None to buy food, to buy clothes, to pay rent, to pay car note, to pay insurance, to pay for nothing. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. Because the technology of the MOTB, right? That's going to be used in the MOTB goes back to the product code, universal product code, and that's when you go to the supermarket and you want to buy something and they scan it. It's the barcode on the back of your item, right? Whether it's milk or eggs or whatever, they scan it through the scanner, and then you pay for it, right? That's the type of technology. That's the type of technology is going to be in the MOTB, to make transactions and to store information and store records, and to be like a key to open doors and car doors and all that. Now they have a updated version of the product code, the barcode, which is the QR code. There's like a more updated and advanced and better version of that, which you could do so much more. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 603 score and six. And that's the 666, right? No, the barcode, when you go into it, At the beginning, there there's a 6. In the middle there's a 6, and at the right, there's a 6. So that's what it's talking about. You know, that technology, the barcode and the QR code, that type of technology is in the MOTB, the RFID CHIP. And to make payments, right, they're going to do away with physical money. Everything's going to become digital. They're forcing a digital person, a digital world where they control and monitor everything. That's why he said to centralize and modernize payment systems. When you go to Amazon, when you go to Whole Foods, you have Amazon Go or Amazon Pay or something like that, where you just wave with your hand. And that's the same thing you're going to do with the MOTB. Just wave with your hand. They got people used to using the phones, the NFC, near field communication, right? Which that's the technology that allows you to pay with your phone. You have Apple Pay, you have Google Pay, I think you have Samsung Pay, and other forms of payment that you use with your phone. And before that, you had a debit card. You would put it in a POS system, a point of sale system, which is like, what the thing that you use the thing that you put your credit card or debit card in at a store to buy something. Now you could just tap. Now they have biometrics, right? That's what the Amazon Go is, and the Chase Bank and other banks are going into biometrics, paying with your own body for this excuse is fraud sake, right? You could you could lose your phone or wallet, but you yourself, you can never lose that. So hey, why not use your body to make payments? Like fingerprints and palm wave, where they scan. They scan your vitals and all that. That's how you're gonna make your payments. That's what do they call it? Biotechnology. I just said it. I forgot. But yeah. This is the update on the MOTB. Prophecies are speaking, and we just gotta repent unto the Lord and do His will. Endure to the end. If you're part of the elect, you're gonna be delivered from destruction. And Salakia. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai Bashem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom.